I really want to know what it was like studying with Stella Adler.
Stella was a fantastic teacher. I mean, her technique was, that you should work from your imagination. That if you limit your life, your experience as an actor to things that you have experienced, then what do you do when you play a murderer? What do you play if you're somebody who hates somebody? And you'd see these images of some people spitting on each other, fighting with each other, of staying in character 24 hours a day. And she thought that was madness, that what you could create from your imagination was boundless, so that if you're playing a murderer, don't play just a guy who's killed one or two people. Play, go back to the Bible and look at Cain and Abel, or Jacob and Esau, that look at these kind of studies, these epic stories of, and it's all in us genetically. I mean, it's all living in the DNA of our bodies. So reach into that, reach into the rich history of your organism, and find the killer inside of you. It exists, and through your imagination you could create great characters, and I thought it was really, really amazing. There's a fun story that there was a girl who came out on the stage to do a scene from Romeo and Juliet, and you used to have to walk out on the stage. You'd walk out and put your arms very wide and take in the room, and then you'd put your fingers to your nose and say, Mathew Modine, I'm going to perform a scene from William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 1, and you'd begin. And so this girl came out and said she was going to do a scene from Romeo and Juliet, and Stella had a big throne that she sat in, red velvet, gold, eagle claw feet and stuff like that. And this girl said she's going to do Romeo and Juliet. And Stella looked at the class like, yeah, right. And the girl began. She says, Romeo, Romeo. And she said, stop. And the girl said, I haven't begun. She said, you've gone too far. You have no idea who this young lady is. That her father is at war with that boy's father. And if he knew that his daughter was having anything to do with that young boy, I'm sorry, I probably spiked you out, that anything to do with that young boy, he might kill his own daughter. When she goes out on that stage and says, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? She wants her Romeo! And Stella took her tits out. She had her old, 80-year-old boobs in her hands. And she puts them back inside and pulls her top up, and she goes, now do me a favor, get down on your hands and knees and scrub the stage. You got a bucket and a rag and scrub the stage. And the girl says, what? She says, get down on your hands and knees and pantomime a bucket and a rag and wash the stage. And the girl got down on her hands and knees, and she'd clearly never had a bucket or knew what it was to put a rag into it or wring it out and wipe the floor. And she said, you see, you don't understand that class of people, and you don't understand the class of people that you're trying to portray. Let me tell you something about yourself. And then she said, you're living on the Upper West Side, which she was, and your father loves you, and you're taking singing lessons and dancing lessons, you're studying with the great Stella Adler, and all these things, tears running down the girl's face. And she left the school, and I saw her a couple of years later, and I said, I felt so bad, and she said, it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because everything that Stella said was true. I didn't. I was a spoiled girl who wanted to be an actor, and my father sent me to New York City and hooked me up, and I didn't have the fire and the desire and willing to embrace the struggle of what it is to be an actor, to be an artist.